And don't forget that our subject today is the 7 principles of greatness. Now, principle number 1, let's go straight without wasting time. You have to walk in purpose. That's to say, anybody who wants to become great, it's of necessity that you must work in purpose. Now, what is purpose? Purpose is the original intention of God for creating you. That is your purpose. And purpose is the original intention of God for creating me. That's my purpose. So everyone has got a unique purpose. There is no two identical individual on earth. Everybody is unique. Everybody has got a different destiny. God does not replicate people. Of over 8 billion people all over the world, there is no two identical individual. God is great, and that's why every one of us has got a purpose. I believe that every one of us, we are brought to this generation for such a time like this to solve problems. We are all a problem solver. You've got to believe it. And the problem that you are meant to solve is your purpose. In Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, God said to Jeremiah, "Before I formed thee in your mother's womb, I knew thee. And before you came forth out of your mother's womb, I have sanctified thee a prophet to the nations." That was his purpose. His purpose was to speak prophetically to his generation, and that he did successfully, and he never lived a life of regret and failure. So also every one of us, we've been ordained for a particular assignment on earth, and we've got to discover that assignment and walk in line with that assignment. I believe so strongly that when we die and depart from this world, God is going to ask every one of us a question. And part of the question that he's going to ask will not be anywhere near what kind of food were you eating while on earth, what clothes were you wearing, in fact, what kind of spouse did you get married to, or what school did you attend, or how many certificates were you able to acquire. God ain't going to ask that. But one of the major questions, and I'm very sure he's going to ask you and I, is what I sent you to do on earth, did you do it? And imagine God asking you that question right now. Will you be able to answer? Many times when I teach about purpose, I usually ask this question: how many of you was alive 200 years ago? Of course, there's going to be usually a silence everywhere. And then I ask another question: how many of you will be alive 200 years from now? Nobody is going to answer, and nobody has been able to answer me. And then I'll come to the conclusion and say the reason why you were not around 200 years before now was because you were not relevant to that generation. And the reason why you are not going to be around 200 years from now is because you will not be relevant to that generation. So the only generation that you have relevance is now. That's why God brought you to this generation. So you must understand it, that you've got to walk in purpose. There is an assignment for you. What you need to do is to discover that assignment and walk in line with that assignment. How do you discover your assignment? You need to form a strong partnership with God, because he's your maker, he's your creator. He's the one who had the intention of creating you and bringing you to this generation. He has all the information about your life and about your purpose. You've got to ask him. How do you ask him? Form a partnership with him. Have a consistent fellowship with God, and then he will begin to inspire that in your heart. You would find that to discover purpose is not something that is too difficult like some people would want to make it to be. It's just an inspiration, a leading, just an inspiration, a leading, a consistent vision. And this will be born out of your fellowship with your Father. Remember one of the rules of engagement: who said this matter of greatness, it's a partnership between you and God. So we move down to the next principle.